Hello Darts Nutz and welcome to Darts Review channel. As you might know, recently Harrows had their 2020 launch and they launched a new type of point. There's two versions of the point. There's the apex point, which has a kind of a tapered flange which makes it sit neatly to the barrel nose, and there's a normal spare point which is flat, but they all have the same style grip patterns, but there's some unique shapes to the patterns. I'll show you a picture of them all in a minute, but Harrows very kindly sent me some of the points. Now, I'm not really big in points myself. I'm quite happy with just a standard plain black point, so I don't really change my points that much. But I do appreciate that a lot of people like grip on the points, and also problems with darts falling out the board, so some people like grip on the nose of the point for that reason. But Harrows have made a point that they say is a little bit stronger, and I'll put Harrows graphic up on the screen and explain a little bit about that. But they do look very good. The apex points, which are the ones with the taper on, they retail for £5.95, and the spare points, which don't have the taper, they're £4.95, and there's various lengths and quite a lot of designs. And like I say, I'll put that information up, but what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use all these points, so at some point I'm going to be giving them away to subscribers in a giveaway. But what I'm going to do for this video, I'm just going to repoint a set of my darts, and then I'll throw some at the board, just so you can have a look how it's done. So let's check them out.
Right, this picture shows the apex points, but the measurements on the left are the measurements for the standard points, not the apex points. But both sets of points are available in black and silver, and you've got the three designs there. So this one is for the apex points specifically, and they're available in 26 and 30mm, and this is the graphic that explains the reasoning behind the kind of grip, outside grip. It says it's stronger, produced from hardened British steel, and the internal core of the point is maintained because the grip is on the outside. And it also shows you a little graphic about the collar and the grip itself, which is slightly different depending on which one that you get.
So as you can see, they just come in little packets, little card packs with little plastic windows, and you've got Lance, Sabre and Ridge, which is the three designs. But just to give you a quick look, the Sabre, it's got a kind of a, I don't know what you would call it, almost like an hourglass shape to the design of the grip. The Ridge, they've got like a raised ring, and there's also like a little groove near the point. And the Lance, that's a little bit similar to the Ridge, but it looks like a kind of a smoother version to the Ridge, so almost like a mixture of the Ridge and the Sabre. But I'll show you a close-up of the Lance and the spare points in the Ridge. So this is the ridged point, and as you can see, it lives up to its name with these little ridges. But if you look near the front of the point, it's got a kind of a little groove pattern, so obviously it helps it stick in the board. And these are just the spare points, and this is the apex. Okay, in focus, and this one is the Lance. And as you can see, it's got that tapered front, so it lines up the nose of your dart, and it's got the little grooves near the nose again. So I'll stick them into some darts now. So I'm going to repoint the Harrows Paragon, and they've just got a basic smooth black coated point. So obviously I have to take the point out first. Just undo that a little bit. And this is the Mission
darts repointer, the Point Expert, which I've reviewed already. So if you're going to use them points with the ridges on, you may want to put a little bit of cloth or paper over the point just to make sure you don't damage it. Just get it a little bit closer to the so, like I say, because it's got this kind of ridge on, I would probably advise you to put maybe a little piece of cloth there or something, or a little piece of paper, but it depends how bothered you are whether they get marked. But I'll do it without that just to see whether it does give the point any marks. Now it says on the instructions, once it reaches the collar, stop. So I'm pushing it in, it's getting closer. It's nearly there already. Well, I can't get it any tighter than that, so that must be it. So that's the point fitted, and that's the original point on the right. Now it looks on the left as if the point hasn't gone all the way up to the nose, but it has, because if you look closely on the barrel, the barrel has got a very fine angled lip there, which is why it looks like there's a gap, but it isn't. There you go. So if you look, I did get a little bit of a mark there from the repointing tool, so that's why I would advise you to put a little piece of paper or cloth over the point just to stop that happening. But it's going to get marked as it gets used in any case, so it hasn't really damaged the point, it's just scuffed off a little bit of the coating. So I'll repoint the other darts now and then just throw a few at the board. Sticking quite well. I think them little grooves at the front is certainly helping because of that. But the fact that they're a black coat point as well, that kind of adds a little bit to it. Usually a normal black coat point when it's new sticks in quite well anyway. But not a lot else you can say about points basically. If you like a point with a grip on for your finger, then it certainly does that. The only thing that remains to be seen is how durable they are. So, if what Harrows says is true, and the fact that they're keeping the internal core intact by having the ridges on the outside, then there should be a more durable point. But basically that's going to take a while to test, unless I do some kind of extreme testing. Okay then, let's do that. Hammer time. Right, I put the apex point into an old dart and I've clamped it into this vice. I hope it's strong enough. I know this table is not very stable, so the table might be the thing that breaks. Right, I'm just going to give it one good whack with the hammer and see what happens. Got another camera there, so here we go. Oh, I missed. Actually, I didn't miss. More of that in a second. So, obviously it can break him, but I was expecting that to happen, but there you go. Right, I thought I missed it on the first hit, but I actually hit it right on the end, and it didn't break on the first attempt, but it did break on the second attempt, as you saw. So, let's have another close look at it. Right, I'm just going to give it one good whack with the hammer
and see what happens. Got another camera there, so here we go. I missed.
So I hit it right on the end and it didn't break at the ridges. So my conclusion is, if you're going to whack it hard with an hammer, it's going to break. No, seriously though, it took a good first whack and it didn't break on the ridges, and I was expecting it to break right at the nose because obviously it's got a strong collar in front, so basically that's a weaker point. But having said that, it seems as if it's living up to its name as being stronger on the ridges, and you're not going to get that kind of a impact just by the darts landing on a hard floor. So I dare say it's safe to say that the points are pretty tough. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it.